In the heart of Hollywood's golden age, an unspeakable tragedy unfolded. A mystery that still haunts Los Angeles to this day. Elizabeth Short, a beautiful young woman with dreams of stardom, would become one of the most infamous victims of a brutal and unsolved murder. Known posthumously as the Black Dahlia, her story captures the dark side of fame, ambition, and the unsettling depths of human nature. Elizabeth Short was born on July 29, 1924, in Boston, Massachusetts. She was the third of 5 daughters in a family that would eventually be shattered by tragedy and hardship. Her father, Cleo Short, was a Navy veteran who made his living designing miniature golf courses until the stock market crash of 1929. With his finances ruined, Cleo disappeared, his abandoned car found on a bridge. He was presumed dead, leaving his wife Phoebe to raise the 5 girls on her own. But Cleo was not gone for good. In a shocking twist, years later, he wrote Phoebe from California, revealing that he was alive and starting over. Eager for a new beginning, Elizabeth joined her father in California in 1942. Yet this reunion was strained. They argued often, and after only a month, Elizabeth left, wandering in search of a new life. From Camp Cook to Santa Barbara, Elizabeth drifted, picking up odd jobs and dating servicemen. She was a dreamer, captivated by Hollywood's allure. In Florida, she met Major Matt Gordon, an Air Force officer who proposed to her before his deployment. But in another tragic turn, Matt died in a plane crash just before the war ended, leaving Elizabeth heartbroken. In 1946, she moved to Los Angeles, reconnecting with another former flame, Lieutenant Joseph Fickling. She spent her final days in Hollywood, working as a waitress and living in a modest room behind the Florentine Gardens nightclub. Many believed she was an aspiring actress, though there's no record of her ever acting in film. Yet Elizabeth was ambitious, drawn to the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. On January 9, 1947, Elizabeth traveled to San Diego with Robert "Red" Manley, a man she had been dating. He dropped her off at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles on January 9th. That was the last time she was seen alive. A week later, on January 15, 1947, a passerby made a horrifying discovery in a vacant lot in Leimert Park. Elizabeth's body lay in 2 severed pieces, her face slashed, her skin pale and drained of blood. The precision of the cuts suggested the killer had some knowledge of anatomy. The Los Angeles Police Department was shocked by the brutality of the crime. The media frenzy began almost immediately, with reporters like Aggie Underwood from the Los Angeles Herald-Express racing to cover every gruesome detail. Elizabeth was quickly identified due to her 1943 arrest for underage drinking, which had left her fingerprints on file. Shortly after her identification, reporters reached out to Elizabeth's mother, Phoebe, under the false pretense that her daughter had won a beauty contest. Only after extracting personal details did they reveal the shocking truth. From that moment, the press dubbed Elizabeth the Black Dahlia, adding fuel to an already sensationalized case. Investigators searched tirelessly, interviewing hundreds of suspects and following leads. A strange manila envelope arrived at the Los Angeles Examiner containing Elizabeth's belongings, including her birth certificate and address book, all meticulously cleaned with gasoline, just like her body. Among the many suspects, one name emerged years later: Dr. George Hodel, a former surgeon with a questionable history. Hodel's son, Steve, an LAPD detective, would later claim that his father committed the murder. Dr. Hodel's medical training and personal circumstances painted him as a plausible suspect. But despite these compelling leads, no one was ever charged. Elizabeth's story has since become part of Hollywood's darker lore, inspiring films, books, and endless speculation. While her case remains officially unsolved, the Black Dahlia murder continues to cast a haunting shadow over Los Angeles. Elizabeth Short was a young woman with dreams, ambitions, and a life tragically cut short. As much as we remember the shocking crime that claimed her, let us not forget Elizabeth herself, a person who loved, laughed, and hoped, much like anyone else.